Okay, now I'm going to call to the stage Kayla Peterson. Please give her a round of applause. This is Kayla's second home right here where we're standing right now, where we're sitting. She's probably as comfortable here as she is anywhere else in the world. So I'm just going to show you Kayla's stats, so to speak, real quick, and then we'll talk more about her journey. So Kayla's predicted 45 points, perfect score. Do you think you can have it? Okay, well, no sooner know. SAT 1520, excellent score as well. Her IGCSE results, perfect result in the IGCSE exams 2 years ago. All A stars or 9s. She is our deputy head of college, just turned over the responsibility to someone else. And admitted to universities including Baldwin-Wallace, NYU. This is the one I mentioned before, Tisch School of the Arts, special school in NYU. Brown University, one of the Ivy Leagues that I mentioned before, and Northwestern. These are just some of her admissions. These are not all of her. How many total?
I think I was admitted to 12.
12 schools. We won't say how many you applied to. So I would like for you to hear Kayla's experience, because Kayla is pursuing a different major from most of her classmates. I think no other classmate this year, right? Kayla is pursuing musical theater. So what I want to first ask Kayla is, how or when did you decide to pursue musical theater as your major?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. Musical theater is not a common major that you see, especially here in Shanghai, in China. I think in the history of Wellington, we've had one other student who applied for musical theater, Izzy, and that was like 6 years ago. So my path to choosing musical theater, it definitely wasn't a very concrete one. I didn't just wake up one day and decide, oh wow, I just want to be a starving artist. So I'll start from the beginning when I came to Wellington. My first year at Wellington, that was when I started dance. I met my best friend Cheryl, dance partner. I'm sure a lot of you have seen us performing in dance shows or have to dance. And then from there, I just kind of worked my way up. I joined all the classes. I tried to find every opportunity in performance. Auditioned for all the musicals, worked my way up, and I slowly built up my passion for the performing arts. But throughout my high school career, it was always more of a hobby for me. I'd always wanted to do theoretical physics or environmental science. But it was towards the beginning of year 12 that I actually started to realize that maybe musical theater is something that I should really seriously consider pursuing. And towards the end of year 12, I was pretty much sure. I was like 80% certain that I wanted to go for it. And every day I would wake up just not being able to imagine my life without musical theater. So when I ended up applying for universities, I'd say about 90% of my schools, I applied for a major in musical theater or a conservatory, and then I also applied to a few backups with like an environmental science major and actually a design major as well. So that was like UC Berkeley and those going to summer camp definitely helped. I went to Interlaken for modern dance, and it was an experience. It was very hard. It was 7 hours a day of dance for 3 weeks, and it made me realize that the hard work, it's worth it for me. It was a really fun experience, and also Mr. LD and Mr. Wood here at Wellington, they're the dance and drama teachers that I've worked with the whole 8 years that I've been here, and they've been crazy and amazing mentors to me, and they're one of the biggest reasons why I've chosen this career path.
you can't see behind you, but I just put the other question that I had for you about this, which is basically so, because I asked in maybe the reverse order. So first, like, how did you grow this passion? And then how did you decide to make it as your major? Tell us about Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah, so I'm sure none of you have heard of Baldwin Wallace. It's the school that I ultimately decided to enroll in. And it is the #1 musical theater conservatory in the U.S. They have a 100% signing rate for all their students. For those of you who don't know, to make it in the industry, it's very important that you get an agent. And Baldwin Wallace is very helpful in getting all their students signed with agents. A lot of their students end up on Broadway, on tour, off-Broadway, in a lot of performances. Some go to graduate school, become directors, choreographers, and all of that. So while it is a lesser-known program in terms of general universities, in the musical theater world, it is very prestigious. And I'm very excited to be on it.
Do you remember us talking about fit? We had year 12, we had a lesson on this. We talked about the factors of fit. But one of the things that our higher education counselors would tell parents is you need to find the place that's like right for you, which might not be right for anyone else in your class, or you might have another school like Brown, like at Northwestern, that some people would say like, you know, you're not taking Brown, you're not taking Northwest. Crazy.
I've gotten that.
You've gotten it. I know you have. I know you have. I bet you a little internally there was some time where you're like, am I really going to say no to Brown? Am I really going to say no to Northwestern or NYU Tisch? Like, it feels wrong to say no to these people. These people rarely get said no to, right? But you found that Baldwin Wallace was the place that fits you best for what you want to do, for your aspirations. They're going to give you the best starting point. Isn't that right to say?
Yeah.
So I want the parents to hear that, and when we talk about fit, you, I think, are a shining example of somebody who knows herself and knows her heart, her aspirations, her dreams, and says, like, this may look unconventional to people outside of my life, my path, but in my lane, in my path, the people that I know that I'm going to be interacting with are like, we're all in the right place. Aren't we so lucky? Isn't this like the bet? You know what I mean? So I want them to hear that, so I'm glad that I'm able to prompt that a little bit. Okay, well, last question I want to ask you. Tell us about Kayla's cards.
All right, so this is actually a small business that I started about six years ago now. It's what I wrote for my personal statement in the Common App when I applied to U.S. universities, and it's been a big thing for me throughout the years. Basically, it's a small business where I design my own original cards and bags and little like pencil cases, and then I sell them at fairs around Shanghai. I've done a few fairs at Wellington, and then every year I choose a different charity to collaborate with and donate some of my profits to. So 6 years ago, I really, really loved drawing cards, like just the weirdest cards. And I decided, you know what, I want to make money with this. It wasn't my goal to become rich or anything. I just wanted to get some business experience. And my parents were a big part in, encouraging me to just try things. When you're young, it's the time to try and experiment with your ideas and be creative with it. So I started. I don't know if any of you have been to Trunk or Treat. It's like a Halloween event, and I just made some Christmas cards. I don't know why I made Christmas cards, and I sold about like 10 of them. And then that was when I realized that I could actually do this. And then throughout all the years, I steadily grew my business, grew my revenue, grew my awareness of how things work. So I didn't take, I just guess, business or any of that. It was mostly just my parents there to help me when I had questions. You know, I learned how to market myself. I learned how to go to the print shop and negotiate prices and find eco-friendly paper and contact charities. I worked with the Will Foundation in Shanghai and Shanghai Roots and Shoots. Actually, through my work with Shanghai Roots and Shoots, I was actually able to get an internship with them as well, where I illustrated a book for their Kids Strong program. And all of that stuff, it's one thing leads to another, and that's a lot of things you can put on your resume and on your activity list when you apply to university. So I would say parents of children have anything that interests them. I think you can encourage them to just take the opportunity to try things out while they're young. There's nothing they can lose really. It's a safe space here, and Shanghai is a great place to be entrepreneurial for young kids. You've got WeChat Pay, you can set up a little WeChat shop, which is also something I did. And yeah.
When you think about the success that Kayla's Cards has had, what metric is your favorite to talk about, like the impact or the success? Is it number of cards sold? Is it profit? Is it amount donated? Is it number of trees planted in Inner Mongolia? Can you give them some sense for sort of like the impact that your Kayla's Cards has had?
Yeah, sure. I think definitely the amount I've been able to help the charities that I've worked with. I planted 500 trees in Inner Mongolia with Shanghai Roots and Shoots, and that was very cool. I was actually going to arrange like a school trip to go and help plant the trees, but then unfortunately COVID happened, and that wasn't possible. But I think the biggest reward for me has been just seeing my cards floating around. Like every time I do a booth in like Jiaoshan Market, for example, some people will come up to me and ask me to sign a card when they buy it, and then like 2 weeks later, someone contacts me and they're like, "Oh my God, I just received this card and it's signed by you. Isn't that crazy?" And it's just made me realize like how much of an impact I can have in this community in Shanghai. Like my cards will just pop up in random places. It's kind of crazy, the places they've been. And yeah, I just think that's pretty cool that I was able to have that reach just from designing cards in my house.
I should have put some visuals of some of the cards. I should have gotten you to send me some of the cards so we could put them up and things. Cards are awesome. I bought quite a few at one point to give out for Christmas or something. And really awesome cards. And also she's done posters, like for the Wiz, the poster that people would have seen in the elevator and around the school, and you've done a bunch of posters for the school over the years. Kayla, thank you very much. Can you give her a round of applause and say thank you for sharing her story?